Hey guys, what's going on? Luke here with Gustin Marketing. Wanted to shoot a quick video for you today on schema markup code. So this is something that's incredibly important to your on-page strategy with your website, and we're going to get into why it's so important. But basically, it's a code that you place on your website that allows the search engines to read it immediately and see exactly who you are, what you're about. So schema deals in with the semantic web. Basically, what that means in simple terms, the semantic web is a way for the search engines to read everything in a format they understand, and it basically links you across the internet. So it ties in with a lot of other things, your other properties out there, your social media properties, that sort of thing. So if you want to do a little more research on that, you can, but that's just a very basic explanation of the semantic web. Basically allows for you to kind of display a virtual business card in the search engine, and that can be in the form of rich snippets. So that's something I'll show you here, and we'll get into a little further. And the schema markup also helps search engines return more information to a user. That's also in the form of these rich snippets. If you've ever seen, when you do a Google search, shows like the review stars, the number of reviews. If you're looking for restaurants, it can show parts of the menu, different items. If you're, e-commerce store, for example, if you're searching for a new pair of Nikes, it might show those, different Nikes underneath that search result. So that's something we'll get into. Basically explains to search engines what your data means. Like I said before, it's just a better form for the search engines to read more clearly in their language. Because you have to think about the search engine is a computer. It reads everything in computer language. It doesn't read everything the way you and I read if we sit down and open up a book or something. So this just basically makes it a lot easier for those search engines to digest that information on your website and then rank you accordingly. So basically, it puts context behind the information on a page. Say we have a blog post, and you have your author name above that blog post. You have your information. You have some images. Well, before schema markup, search engines just kind of saw that as a jumbled mess. But now with that, you can clearly identify certain aspects. For example, the author would be clearly outlined. The content would be clearly outlined. The images clearly outlined. And so it's just a way of getting some context and some categorization behind the content on your website. And like I said, just making sure that those search engines can read it more clearly. And last point, there are literally hundreds of different markup types that can be used, possibly even thousands at this point. Basically, the amount of combinations you can use within these markups is almost unlimited. So there are just all kinds of different elements depending on what type of site you have, what you're providing on that site, so on and so forth. So let's get in a little bit. So we're gonna take a look at rich snippets. I'll just show you a quick example of what those look like. So if you've ever seen, for example, if you Google a recipe here, you have reviews. Also shows, the time that it takes to cook, calories here. We're also showing, more reviews here. You see those stars, and then the images right there in the search results. So all I did here was just type in rich snippets example, went to images. So you guys can take a look at this if you want to see more examples of how this works. So let's take a look at another one here. You see this a lot with Amazon. You see those ratings, the reviews, the price, in stock. Those are big indicators here on how this works. More recipes here. It's big with that kind of stuff as well. So here's more of a full page. Kind of hard to see, but also has the calorie and breakdown and ingredients, that sort of thing. So Let me show you what this looks like, and this may look a little daunting at first, but it's really easy to modify this. I'll actually provide this file for you guys underneath this video, and it's real easy to modify. Basically, this top line here is what type of business you are. For example, here I just put in a construction company. Clearly not everybody's going to have this same type here, and to figure out what type you need to use for your business, you'll have to go to schema.org, and I'll link to this underneath the video as well. And you want to go up here to the search bar and basically type in what type of business you are. So say you're a dentist. We're going to hit search here. That category at the top, you're going to use /dentist, so that's pretty easy. You would just replace this here with dentist. Let's try something else. Let's try roofer, because we've been doing some roofing stuff, some of these examples. So this one's /roofing contractor, so that's something you can place in there, if you're a roofer, for example. Let's just try one more. Let's say restaurant, and it's just /restaurant. There's also /food establishment, /local business. Now, if you don't fall into any of these, you can use just this /local business. Say if they don't have your category here. So next step would be adding this to our website, and I'll show you guys how to do that here. I have just this example website. I use WordPress quite a bit, and I know a lot of people out there use WordPress, so I'll show you how to put this information into your site. That way you get the search engines looking at it. So we're going to go just to this example post here, this little example post that WordPress makes. What you're going to do is you're going to take this information, once you've put all your information in here, and you're going to copy it and paste it into your WordPress site, and I'll show you how to do that the right way. But let's go back to this real quick, and I'll explain kind of what these mean here. This is your category, type of business you are. This is going to be your business name. So getting back to the last video, we set up our Google My Business listings, and I emphasized how important it is to consistently use the same business name over and over online. That way Google doesn't have any type of confusion. So if you used, for this example, ABC Construction on that Google business listing, put ABC Construction here. If you used ABC Construction LLC in the Google My Business listing, you want to put ABC Construction LLC here. So make sure everything is consistent across the web when dealing with your business and your brand name. Next line is just the URL to our website, and then this next line here, I'll put in that, is linked to your logo. So to get that, if you go to your website, just right click on the link to your logo, and you'll want to click on copy image address to get that URL there. Next one is an image, and that can really be any image that you want to use. I would use something different than your logo. Say if you have an image on your front page, I would use that one. And then these next two lines are the same as lines. So same as refers the search engine to these other profiles and tells them, hey, this is the same company. So as you can see here, we have a Google Plus profile, and then we have a Facebook page. What you can do is you can take these, if you want to put in more properties, say you want to put in your Pinterest account or your Twitter account, or if you have a blogger blog, or any of those type of social media profiles, LinkedIn account. I mean, really, it could be a lot of different things. You want to copy and paste, and just keep those same as in there. And say this one is going to be our Twitter. So we'll put that in there, Twitter. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get too crazy with it. Don't add in, like 20, 30, 50, 100 different links, because that's, in the eyes of Google, is just going to look really spammy. So get your main profiles in there, and anything Google, Facebook, Twitter, the big social media profiles, get those in there. And then say you're on a website like Home Advisor or House, or you have profiles there, you can put those in there as well. So there's not really any set way to do this. Just don't go crazy with it, and don't look like a spammer. So next line is the has map. So this is just going to be a link to our map. So I covered that in the last video, but to get a map, you just go to google.com/maps, and then you're going to put in your address up here, and make sure you hit allow. Say we're on Main Street here in Parker. This was the address I used in the last video, and then you're going to click on that location. You'll probably see your business name here if you do have that Google My Business listing there. And then you're just going to hit share, and then you can use this link, or you can get the short URL link. And these are the links we're going to use in that has map portion. Next line is telephone, pretty self-explanatory. Next line starts to get into our postal address. So this line here is our street address. And going back to that consistency, make sure everything is consistent across all of your properties. You definitely want to look to Google first as far as how they're formatting your address, especially if you have that Google My Business listing. We want to put the address in here the same way that they have it formatted. City, state, and zip here. And then finally we have our geo coordinates. Showed that to you guys as well in the last video. And how to get those, you just go to latlong.net. If you don't have those, put in your address here and click find. It's that simple to get those and to get that inserted into that code. Now, after you've filled in everything accordingly, you can have this tested in Google just to make sure everything is working properly. So you want to go to the structured data testing tool, and it's at search.google.com/structured-data/testing-tool. I know that's kind of a mouthful, so it's easier just to Google structured data testing tool. It'll bring you here, and you can paste in your code, and then you're going to hit run test. And it's going to take a look, make sure everything looks good. So we got 0 errors. That's always good. 1 warning. So let's see what our warning is. That's for the price range field. Not a big deal in this type of business. That might be better if you have like an e-commerce store or something you can give an exact price on every time. So this just helps you out. If you do have any errors, it'll tell you exactly in here how to fix those, what the error is, that sort of thing. So let's get into adding this onto a website. So we have our page here, and say this is our front page of our website, and we only have one location. And that brings me to another point. You're going to want to do a separate one of these for every location. Obviously, since you have different addresses for each one of those locations and probably different phone numbers, you're going to want to do this on each separate page. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this code here, and then in WordPress you have your visual editor and your text editor. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to go to the text editor because that's what will handle this code, and then we're going to paste that code in here, and then we're going to hit update. Alright, so page is updated. Then what we're going to do, just to make sure this is working properly, I'm going to pull up this page, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to put in this information here. So if you do add it to your page, add it below the content. You can also add it into a widget, and I'll show you guys how to do that in just a second here. But we're going to go to view page source, and then we're going to do a search, and we're going to look for schema. So it's in there properly. We have our schema, home and construction business. You can see here it'll be all kind of squished together here, but that's all right. It's going to have all the different links to our profiles, our maps. It's going to have our address and stuff in here. So basically when any search engine gets to this page, they're going to read this information, know exactly what's going on. So let's close out of that, and I will remove this out of here, and I'll show you guys how to put it into a widget as well. If you want to put it, like, say, on the sidebar of a website, we're going to go to Appearance, Widgets, and then we got our sidebar here. We're just going to take this little text widget, drop it in here, and then we're going to go to text again, because that's what's going to handle our code. And we're going to paste that in and hit save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to load this site up. And as you can see here on the sidebar, we have that. Now I don't have real image links in that schema, but once you have that logo and that image link, it'll display just a little image under that as well. So, and if we view our source, do a search for schema, and there it is. So we got our schema home and construction business. So there's a couple of ways to do that. That's manually. I'll show you a plugin that I actually use that makes all of this a lot easier to deal with. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and that plugin is called Project Supremacy. So I'll actually put a link to this at the bottom of the video. There is a free trial for this plugin, so if you guys want to try it out, throw it on your website, see how you like it. It's definitely great in my opinion. I use it on every single site that I have, and basically makes it a lot easier to manage these schema. You basically put on the input, and it puts all the code in for you automatically. So I'll show you how that works. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to go to SEO settings first. And basically this is going to be your default SEO title, description, keywords, basically your metadata here. So we're not going to do anything with that now. Allowed pages, default titles. Okay, this is going to be all right here. Now we're going to go to Schema Markup, and this is where we can start adding in our schemas. So basically it gives you some different options here. The default schema, you can set to have all your pages automatically default to this schema. You can do schemas per page, and then you can set exactly which pages you want to have schema and which pages you don't want to have schema. So definitely makes a very easy process to manage, and you don't have to deal with manually inserting that code and making sure it's all marked up correctly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to this page here. We're just going to do this on this page. We're not going to set a default schema right now. So we're going to go to this Hello World page, which is the only page we have here, and we're going to hit Add New Schema. Now it's going to give you here, all the different business types you can choose from. So you have accounting service, attorney, auto body shop. So for this particular website, we're using construction before. I know it says decks and patios up here, but let's just do construction. Say I'm a general contractor. So we're going to hit add, and then we're going to pull this down, and it's going to ask us for information here. So we're going to copy in our website. This next spot is additional type. So these are just some different ways of explaining what we're about here and on our website. So I mean, this kind of looks confusing, but I wouldn't get too caught up on this. Basically, you're going to find if you have a Wikipedia page, so we'll do general contractor Wikipedia. Okay, so there is a general contractor Wikipedia page, and then you're just going to take the end of this off here where it says general contractor, and then we're going to go back in, and you want to select all this here. You want to use this product ontology URL, to throw in front of that. So it's going to say product ontology /ID/general contractor. So you say you have multiple different categories, you can add more, and make sure there's a Wikipedia page for it. So, and then we have our name. Description. Obviously, you want to put in a better description than that. We have our logo, and I'll just copy these links for the sake of time. Price range here, that's where I was getting that error the last time. You can just put in 0 if you don't really have anything. If you do have different items, you can definitely put in a price range there. So we'll throw in map URL, and then put in your email address here, and then put in your phone number. So the correct way in formatting this is you want the country code, and then you want the area code, and then the phone number. Alright, and then we were talking about those same as links. So this is exactly what it is. You don't have to follow exactly what it says here. You could throw any of your social links in there, whatever you wanted. And I'll just do facebook.com/abc. Okay. Instruction. Alright, here's our ratings. So this is also important. Don't get spammy with this. Don't throw in ratings that you don't have. If you have ratings on your website from customers, yes, definitely use them. If you have ratings on Yelp or Facebook or Google My Business, yes, use them. But don't make this up. So we'll just say we have a 5-star rating and 23 people have given us ratings. So all right, next is opening hours. So say we have the same opening hours, and you're going to use the first 2 letters of the weekday day name, and then you're also going to put the hours in military time. So say we open up at 8 a.m. and then we close at 6 p.m. So that's 1800. Whoops. So we want it formatted like that. You can add more in, say if you have weekend hours, and you can do the weekend hours differently. And then here's our address, so put that in. And then our state. Whoops. Oh, that's city. And then we're going to put in our geo coordinates there. So just making those up right now. And then what you can also do is hit populate location from address. And this is not going to show anything here because these are probably not real. Let's see. Okay, yeah, those might not be real coordinates, but anyway, it'll populate the map automatically based on your location. And actually, that should be working off of the address, so I'm not sure. Must not have a certain thing enabled. So let's save this. We're gonna hit save here. It's a successfully saved schema. Alright, and then we're going to go over here to the validator, and then we're going to click this page that we just added the schema on, then we're going to hit validation test. So basically this is going to look a little different than this schema. This is formatted in a different language, this JSON LD, but I mean it accomplishes the same goal. So Google just added support for this, so that's why it's being used more and more. but like I said, it will accomplish the same goal as this will. So and I'll show you another couple things here that this plugin will do for you guys. So I know we talked about multiple locations, so you definitely, if you have multiple locations, you want to add a schema to each location. So that's going to show Google you do have multiple locations, where they're located, that sort of thing. So for example, I have a website with 26 different locations on it, and this plugin helps me keep all that straight and organized. So and let's do a quick test on this. Let's take out our widget first that we added, and then I'll show you how this gets in here. So we'll delete that. Alright, so we got our widget removed. So we don't have the schema there anymore. We don't have the schema on this post. But if we go to page source, and then I don't know why. We got to go to this post because I set that schema specifically to this post. So let's go to page source here, and we have our schema, as you can see, general contractor, and all that information that I put in there. So yeah, that's basically it on the schema markup. Like I said, I'll throw a couple of links below the video for this plugin. You guys can, like I said, get a free trial. Let me show you a few other things that this plugin will do. Basically, it will allow you to mark up your images with the EXIF data and geolocation. That's something we covered in the last video, getting that geolocation in your photos when using them on your website and in your Google My Business listing. So we're gonna go to media, and I'll show you how that works here. Don't have any photos here. Let me find one. Alright, we'll just use this button here. Alright, so we're going to hit edit image. Oh, that's not going to be the one. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's convert to a JPEG because this file in this format will not let us put in the EXIF data, being a PNG. Alright, and it is a JPEG now. So we can add in our descriptions here. We can put in our latitude, longitude, and then we can also throw an address in here, and it will populate this information, and then it'll also populate a map here. So that's another great feature of this plugin, is being able to do that right on your website without doing it beforehand. And then, like I said, get that description and all the good stuff in there. So yeah, it's a great plugin. I use it on every site, like I said. And there are some other features of it. I'm not going to go into details, but there are some keyword research stuff, that sort of thing, in this plugin. And I highly recommend it to you guys. I would at least download it, take it for a spin. Like I said, it is a free trial on that, so you can definitely take a look at it first. And if you want to do things the the good old-fashioned way and just take this code and insert it manually, you certainly can as well. So that's all I got for you guys on Schema Markup. As always, be sure to send me any questions you have on any of this information, anything else you got. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, share the video as well if you don't mind. And I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And I will be speaking with you guys soon.